Maybe it'll help you calm your nerves.
Thanks. I'm sorry to cause all this trouble.
Sheridan, what are you talking about? You know, anybody'd get shaken up doing hypnosis.
My sentiments exactly, which is why I don't put one iota of stock in such useless mumbo-jumbo.
I'd do it all again if it helps me understand where my nightmares came from.
Good girl.
As frightened as I am of learning the truth, I'd rather know what it is than spend one more day of my life wondering if I'm crazy or if something bad really did happen in the living room that night.
Hey, it's okay, Sheridan. Now, whatever it is that went down, it's not your fault. You were just a little girl. I'm just hoping when Eve comes out, she can tell us that you remembered whose fault it was.
Hogwash. It's all pure hogwash.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And Julian, just so you know, who's ever responsible for my father's disappearance is going to suffer exactly the same fate that my family did, without 1 ounce of mercy.
I have to admit, I'm stunned, Mr. Crane. I was sure you were calling to warn me not to divulge what Sheridan had said under hypnosis.
On the contrary, Dr. Russell, you have a professional obligation. Besides, I've always wanted the truth to come out. Go ahead, tell them everything. Sheridan and Louise have a right to know the truth.
I love you, Teresa. You have to believe me. Would I kiss you if I didn't?
Don't lie to me, Ethan. Don't try to make me believe that you love me. I know that you don't. Just let me die.
Teresa, you can't die. I won't let you die. Teresa, I need... I love you. I truly love you.
Out loud, this farce has gone on long enough. Can't you see what this is doing to my sister?
I know that she is upset.
Upset? She's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Pardon me, officer, but I thought your job was to protect the citizens of this community, not cause them harm.
I'm all right, Julian.
What you are, you can't even hold on to a teacup. Are you so desperate for an excuse for your father's disappearance other than what everyone already knows? Get over it, boy. He abandoned you and the rest of your family after he was caught stealing from mine. He ran off when he was confronted with it.
I've heard your BS version before, and I don't buy it for a second. And don't call me boy.
Oh, pardon me, officer, but I don't appreciate your pulling my sister into your family embarrassment. Not to mention the threat to her mental well-being.
Luis didn't pull me into anything. I asked him for his help, and he said yes, because in all likelihood, my nightmares are connected to his father's disappearance. How else do you explain they're starting the exact same night that Martin Fitzgerald disappeared without a trace?
You're both grasping at straws when there is no foundation whatsoever.
That's not true. And if you were any kind of brother at all, you'd be supporting what Sheridan is trying to do. It takes a lot of courage.
Oh, she is this close to the edge already, and you obviously just as soon push her right over.
It's the lies that have hurt her, Julian, not the truth.
She knows the truth. She just doesn't want to accept it. The best psychiatrist in Europe told her she imagined what happened in the main house that night. It was nothing more than a young girl's hysterical reaction to a bad dream. They even told Father and me that she was born with a nervous condition.
Well, if that is true, then we'll find out as soon as Eve comes out and tells us what Sheridan remembered happening that night.
That is if we are to believe Dr. Russell's medical opinion at all.
Well, there's sudden doubts about Eve's expertise. I'm afraid of something she's going to say.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
I think you're terrified, Julian. You're more scared than your sister. Because of something that you've been hiding. Something in all likelihood has to do with my father.
How dare you insinuate anything of the sort? One more remark like
Both
that.
of you just stop it! I can't take it anymore!
I'm sorry, Sheridan.
I'll
You're
take
right.
care of my sister.
I think you need a breath of fresh air, buddy. Come on.
There, Sheridan.
You know, Luis, I hate to say this, but, I think Julian's right.
Whose side are you on?
Look, all I'm trying to say is that I think you're making things worse for Sheridan than they already are.
Look, I know this is tough on her.
Tough? Yeah, it's tough. She's in there shaking. She's about this close to losing it. And you're cruising for a bruising from her brother.
Well, I can't help it. I take one look at him, I know he's lying through his teeth. He knows something about my father.
Could be. But I'm beginning to think that maybe you were right when you wanted to call off the hypnosis.
Look, I don't want this to hurt Sheridan. You know, but she's been haunted for all these years by what happened. Now, if she finds out what it is, then maybe she can move on.
Well, you know, it sounds good on paper, but when it's going down right before your eyes, you got to ask yourself if it's worth it. I mean, I guess it depends on what the truth brings Sheridan. A breakthrough or a breakdown.
Why so shocked, Dr. Russell?
Maybe you don't realize the extent of what your daughter remembered under hypnosis.
I assure you, I know exactly what she said. Her recurring nightmares are the result of a tragic childhood event that occurred in our home one evening many years ago.
That's what she told me.
I know all about how Sheridan came downstairs when she heard a noise in the living room. And she picked up a letter opener from my desk, and the next thing she knew, she was standing over a bloody corpse with her hands covered in blood.
Yes.
Well, I assumed that the hypnosis jogged her memory enough now that she remembers the name of the victim, Martin Fitzgerald.
You knew?
Why do you think I've worked so hard all these years to keep it a secret? I was trying to protect my daughter. Unfortunately, she's made it impossible for me to do so any longer. It seems the time has come to tell Luis that Sheridan killed his father.
Teresa, you've got to get better. Teresa, I need you. I can't believe this. Teresa's waited her whole life to hear those words.
Look at the monitor. Her heartbeat's getting steadier.
You know, I gotta call my mom, let her know what's going on.
Okay, I'll come.
Teresa, don't leave me. I love you.
Oh my God.
Gwen. Teresa, you're awake. I'll be right back.
Stay with me, Ethan. I need you.
I couldn't get my mother, but I left a message.
Well, at least the news is better now than it was a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Thank God. Hey. Don't cry. Teresa's gonna be okay. She's gotta be.
I know. And that's not why I'm crying. I just thought it was really romantic, the way that Ethan told her that he loved her. I mean, he saved her life.
The same way you saved mine after I almost died in the avalanche.
Well, I guess love can really work miracles.
It's gonna take more than a miracle for Teresa to end up with Ethan.
But you heard what he said. I mean,
I know. You know, and my sister's waited her whole life to hear that. That's what I'm worried about.
well, I mean, Ethan's fiance heard it too, and there's no way that she's gonna marry him now.
And you think he's gonna marry Teresa instead? This is the real world, Charity. If my sister gets her heart broken again, I don't know what it'll do to her.
Teresa, I promise I'll be back.
Please, don't go. Don't go.
Look, Teresa, I just have to explain some things.
Don't leave her now. She's holding on, thanks to your being here. I don't want to see her slip back.
Neither do I. Guess the cat's out of the bag now.
You know, how can you make light of something that's going to destroy so many people's lives?
I'm not. I think it's about time Ethan and Teresa got together. Even if it did take a life and death situation to do it.
Well, so you're not telling me you think everything's just going to work out perfectly?
Damn straight I do. Ethan's in love with Teresa. I'm sure he tried to fight it for a while, but that's not how it works. Love don't back off on account of timing, convenience, pride, commitments, or even class difference, all right? It just is what it is. I don't understand how some people just don't get that.
Would you stop at this instant? You're like a cat on a hot tin roof.
I can't help it. I wonder what's taking Eve so long.
Who cares? If you had any sense at all, you'd call off the well-meaning Dr. Russell and those two goons outside.
Hey, don't talk about Luis and Hank that way. They're trying to help me.
Well, be that as it may, don't you think it's time you did something to help yourself? Tell them you've reconsidered. You've decided you don't want to know what you said under hypnosis. And from everything I've read, it's incredibly unreliable
I'm
anyway.
not backing out, Julian. I'm tired of living with my past hanging over my head. I just want to
Get on with my life. I know, I've heard it all before.
Oh, look, you can laugh all you want, but you're not going to talk me out of learning the truth.
I'm just...
Don't! I've heard everything that you have to say on the subject, and you're not going to change my mind.
Making a mistake, Sheridan. A terrible, terrible mistake.
I refuse to believe that the truth could destroy Sheridan. It's not like she did anything wrong herself. She was just a kid. If anything, she just witnessed something traumatic.
Well, I hope you're right.
What else could it be? See, my guess is that she walked in on Julian or Alistair with my father. That's why he's in there quaking in his boots. He's terrified. She remembered what they did.
And you're not?
I'm scared out of my wits, Hank. I could be about to hear that those bastards killed my father. I swear to God, Hank, if that's the case, they're gonna pay.
Still there, Dr. Russell?
Yes, I just can't believe what I'm hearing.
Why? Because I finally accepted the inevitability of my daughter's actions?
It was murder, Alistair.
I'm well aware of that, Eve.
Your daughter is not the only one who's going to be charged if the truth comes out. You and your son covered it up for years. That makes you accessories to a capital crime.
I suppose it does.
And surely you have stopped to consider what the news is going to mean to Luis. I mean, he has spent the better part of his life trying to find out what happened to his father. And now to have his worst fears confirmed that your family is responsible?
Yes. Yes, I'm certain that he and his superior, Chief Bennett, will have a field day charging us to the fullest extent of the law.
Your family is one of the most powerful in the entire country. When the press gets wind of this story, It'll be headline in every paper, newscast, tabloid TV show.
I know that, but what choice do I have? I'm prepared to accept the consequences of our actions.
Well, I hope you mean that, Mr. Crane. Because the second that we end this call, I'm going to go in and tell Sheridan and Louise everything.
Look, however you feel about it, this is big for Teresa and Ethan. And there ain't no going back for either of them now.
You don't have to tell me. I mean, just think about poor Glenn. Can you imagine hearing your fiancé tell another woman that he's in love with her? She even saw Ethan kiss Teresa.
No, better she knows how he feels now than later.
That's real easy for you to say, Chad, but what about Teresa? I mean, after Glenn gets over the initial shock, she's not going to blame Ethan. She's going to go after Teresa and try to tear her limb from limb.
Where's Gwen?
She's right over there.
I've got to talk to her.
Do you have any idea what you're gonna say?
No, I haven't figured that out. Gwen, thank God you're still here. Look, I've got to explain to you what you saw in there.
There's no need to explain, Ethan. I know what's going on.
Well, I hope you're wrong about the Cranes being behind your father's disappearance, because you wouldn't stand a chance against people like that, Louise.
I'm not afraid of them, Hank.
Well, that's the problem. You're so hell-bent on the mission that you don't think about the consequences. You just act.
You ever hear of David and Goliath?
Yeah. You want to know why people remember that story? Because things don't usually work out that way. 9 times out of 10, the big guys do win. Now, I don't even want to think about what Julian and Alistair are going to do if you push them into a corner. They're not 2 of your biggest fans.
Well, that's their problem. Now, if I find out they're responsible for my father's disappearance, or God forbid, death, they're going to wish they were dead.
Okay, now what about Sheridan? She's a Crane.
Oh, she's different. It's all what's best for her, right?
So, you okay?
Trying to be.
Okay, well, I'll get you another cup of tea, okay?
Thanks.
Still shaking.
Yeah. I'll be all right, though. That's why I came outside. I thought the night air might help.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Wow. Have you ever seen anything so perfect?
I can't believe it.
What?
My father planted these rose bushes when we used to live here. I can't believe I didn't even notice it till now.
I bet your mom looks at it every time she comes to the cottage.
There's a story behind it, too. My mama, she always said that Papa was very romantic, but didn't always express how much he loved her very well in words, so he brought home these rose bushes and planted them and said that if she ever felt that she was doubting his love or wasn't saying it enough, just to look at the rose bushes and remember how much he adored her and how much he'd always adore her. I just want to say thanks for tonight.
Don't thank me just yet. We don't know if what I said under hypnosis has anything to do with what happened to your father.
Yeah, well, even if that's the case, it takes a lot of guts to put yourself under hypnosis. And, you know, there aren't a lot of people who are willing to go up against Julian and Alistair, even if they are your father or brother.
Don't make me out to be such a hero. I just want to stop my nightmares.
Yeah. You know that this isn't easy for me to say, but you know, I've been a real idiot with you more than a few times.
Go on.
And you know what I'm trying to say is, not everyone in your family is cold and self-centered, and ruthless. You're different. And I respect you, and I hope that you're always part of my life.
Busy. What the hell are you talking to, Father? I need you now.
I have to go, Mr. Crane. I've left Sheridan and Louise waiting long enough.
Just one thingy. Before you hang up, I'd like to ask a favor.
That depends on what it is.
Be gentle with my daughter. This is going to be especially tough on Sheridan.
I'm glad to hear that Sheridan's feelings matter to you.
Of course.
I don't think I could say as much for your son.
What has Julian got to do with this?
He's in the living room of the cottage right now, doing everything in his power to keep the truth from coming out.
Is he?
I respect you for being willing to accept the consequences of your family's actions, no matter what they may be.
Well, how refreshing to speak to someone who shares the same value system as I. I assume you apply the same strict standards to yourself.
I try to.
Difficult sometimes, isn't it? Especially when it concerns mistakes one's made in the distant past. Sordid mistakes like the ones you made all those years ago. Your various addictions, your illicit relationship with my son, even the baby you gave birth to.
Oh, my God.
Your family's going to be destroyed just as my family is. But accepting the consequences of one's actions is what's important. Isn't that what you said, Dr. Russell?
You are my passion for life.
Look, I know that you're just worried about your sister. But didn't you see the way that Ethan looked at her? The way he kissed her? I mean, that wasn't fake. He's really in love with her.
Even if you're right, there's too many things standing in the way of them ever being together.
Well, I mean, you know, maybe Ethan's family wouldn't be that happy about them getting married.
Wouldn't be happy? I mean, they would do whatever they had to stop it.
What can they do? I mean, you can't stop love if it starts. You can't turn it on and off just because it might be a little inconvenient.
You know that, and I know that, but I'm not sure Julian and Alistair Crane know that. What's wrong? Do you feel all right?
Something's gonna happen. I can feel it.
Something good or bad? Who's it gonna happen to? Answer me, Charity.
Gwen, you don't understand.
But I do. Ethan, I know exactly what's going on between you and Teresa.
No, it's not what you think.
Ethan, I just spoke to the nurse and she told me the whole story.
Gwen,
Look, Ethan,
let me explain.
I understand. Okay, and I think it's wonderful.
Wonderful.
The nurse told me that Teresa was literally hanging on by a thread and she had lost her will to live and she needed the man she loved to bring her back. Luckily, she was out of it enough to think that you were Chuck. I mean, when I first saw you kissing Teresa, I felt the worst sense of betrayal. But I'm sorry. I now realize just how lucky I am. I'm marrying a real hero.
You know, hopefully, once we clear up what's behind us, we'll both be better at moving forward.
We couldn't get much worse at it, could we?
Say that again. Where do you think you're going?
Good grief, you're suspicious. You didn't think I was trying to sneak off, did you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think, Julian.
I think I'm going to help Hank with that tea and leave you two to duke it out.
Yeah. Relax, officer. I wouldn't dream of making a run for it with you around. I just wanted a little fresh air.
Well, I'd like you to stay inside or I can keep an eye on you.
Yes, well, I don't trust you either, but I do understand you.
I doubt that very much.
Oh, it's true. I see right through your motivation for helping my sister with this old emotional baggage she insists on carrying around. You found her Achilles' heel, and you're using it to make her play for the Crane family fortune.
Are you crazy?
Don't deny it. You wouldn't be the first man who's used Sheridan to get to a trust fund. Let's cut to the chase. Since it's money you want, I'll be glad to pay you right here. Up front, all you have to do is give up this ridiculous charade, send Dr. Russell home, and forget the whole thing.
All right, let me make something very clear, Julian. If what Eve tells us implicates you in any crime whatsoever, that bribe you just offered me will weigh very heavily against you in a court.
Bribe? Oh, please, get over it. Have you no sense of humor whatsoever?
Not when it comes to my father. The fact that you have been so desperately trying to keep me from hearing what Sheridan told Eve tells me that you're covering up something big. If you want to cut to the chase, Julian, let's do it. We don't have to wait for Eve. You can tell me what happened that night my father disappeared right now. Tell me what Sheridan remembered.
You bastard!
Oh, rather salty language from someone who's sworn to uphold the Hippocratic Oath. Whoops. I mean, Hippocratic. Or do I?
Go to hell.
I don't understand, Eve. Weren't you just praising me to the skies for braving the repercussions of the truth? Weren't you just saying that it's a shame more people didn't take responsibility for their actions? I assumed that you were speaking not only of my family, but yours as well. I thought that we were all equal under the law.
You're just trying to blackmail me.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. I'm merely suggesting that if we Cranes need to endure the airing of our dirty laundry, so should the Russells.
But you're even more manipulative and cruel than people say. Just to think that you could have saved your daughter years of torment by telling her the truth.
And how do you justify keeping the truth about yourself from your own daughters? You're no better than I am, Eve. What? Don't let me keep you. Hang up the phone. Go tell everyone that Sheridan killed Louise's father. There should be quite an exciting emotional fallout. I wonder which will be bigger. One in my family or the one in yours? When they hear that you used to be little more than a common whore.
I am so proud of you. You saved Teresa's life. Oh, how's Teresa doing?
Oh, your friend is getting stronger by the minute. I think it's safe to say that she's out of the woods.
Well, is there anything else we can do for her?
I don't think so. You might as well all go home. Let her get some rest.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Oh, I better take this call. I'm gonna go return this and I'll come back and we'll head out, all right?
Fine.
I'm gonna go check on Teresa. I'll be right back.
Man, I would not have believed Gwen's taken the situation if I hadn't heard her myself.
And I don't know what to do.
Only one thing to do. You finally admitted that you love Teresa, and you can't back out of it now.
But I love Gwen, too.
How can you love two women at the same time?
I just do. Okay. It's not the same kind of love I have for Teresa, but it's real. And it means something to Gwen and me. And I can't just call off the wedding and tell her that I'm in love with Teresa, and that would break her heart.
Okay, man, you definitely got a problem. But, the way I see it, man, there's still only one way to resolve it.
Maybe so. But I can't make a move until I think this through carefully. I mean, there's too much at stake and too many people involved.
You ready to go?
Yeah, all set.
Hey. Follow your heart. Are you gonna make everybody miserable?
Why would I offer you a bribe when I have nothing to hide?
I think you do.
You're wrong. You see, money means very little to my family. No matter how much we spend, we know there'll always be more. On the other hand, privacy is precious. It means the world to the Cranes. I'd be more than willing to pay handsomely to keep my sister's distress from the public eye.
Now, why would the root of Sheridan's nightmares be newsworthy?
I didn't say that it was, but it's never stopped the tabloids from gobbling up anything to do with my family. Sheridan's already emotionally fragile. If the papers get a hold of this, then they'll paint her as some sort of nutcase. I'm looking out for my sister.
Julian, yeah, I may not have gone to your ritzy private schools, but I'm not stupid, okay? The only person you ever look out for is yourself.
Luis is positive you didn't do anything wrong that night, and I agree with him. So there's nothing to worry about, okay? I just want you to know that I'm going to be right here for you no matter what comes out. You mean a lot to me, Sheridan.
Thank you, Hank.
That little pause. Are you wishing that Luis was saying these things instead of me?
I won't lie and say that I don't wonder sometimes what might have happened between Luis and me, but I mean, I already know the answer to that. I'm a Crane. And we both know how Luis feels towards anyone named Crane.
Well, just so you know, I don't agree with him on that one.
You're sweet.
If you were hoping this juvenile search for the truth would make points with my sister, it appears you're wrong. Looks like she's making time with your best friend.
Sorry that I took so long.
It must have been a pretty important call.
Yes, it was.
You don't have to leave for the hospital, do you?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. I don't think I could have waited another minute. Well, tell us what I remembered. Tell us what happened that night.
It's Ethan and Teresa. Something's gonna happen to Ethan and Teresa.
Like what? Are you having one of your visions?
I don't know what to call it. It's just this feeling. And I know that something's gonna happen.
I think you're tired. And you want to believe that love can conquer all.
But it can.
But you're forgetting about my brother Luis. I mean, if you think the Cranes would have a problem with Ethan and Teresa getting together, that would be nothing compared to Luis's reaction.
Well, I don't care what you say. If it's true love, it's gonna overcome anything and anyone in its way.
I like the way you think.
Well, how could I think any other way after all that we've overcome? I just think that love is the strongest thing in the entire world. Ethan.
She thinks about him even in his sleep.
Are you all right?
Yeah, just a little tired, that's all. You ready to go?
Well, I know Pilar's on her way, but I wanted to be here for Teresa when she wakes up. She's gonna be calling for Ethan.
Yeah, well, he's got some heavy-duty decisions to make and not a whole lot of time to make them.
Did he say something about Teresa and Glenn?
About the worst thing he could say. He loves both of them.
Well, that's why he's going to end up choosing Gwen in the end. Chad, they're comfortable around each other. They have a history. It's what their families want. And Teresa's going to be the one that gets heartbroken.
Well, I ain't so sure about that. Right now that Ethan's realized he loves her, I don't know that he'll be able to give her up.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Poor Teresa. I still don't know why she took off from the Russells on her brother's motorcycle. I guess we'll find out when she's well enough to talk. Ethan, you seem like you're a million miles away.
I have a lot on my mind.
Well, what did I say under hypnosis? Did it have anything to do with Luis's father?
Sheridan, could you give me a moment? I think I'd like to have a cup of coffee.
Yes, help yourself. Well, this is it. We're finally going to know.
Hey, everything's gonna be all right, Sheridan.
I hope so.
That was your father on the phone.
Well, well, well. I guess he saved me from making my last-ditch pitch. When are you going to tell these good people you've changed your mind and you're dropping all this nonsense? My father can be quite convincing.
For your information, your father told me to tell Sheridan and Luis everything that I know.
You're lying. He'd never do that.
Of course, he did have one little rider. If I reveal what Sheridan said to me under hypnosis, then he'll reveal to TC and my daughters about my past.
Never ceases to amaze me. Oh, whatever works.
And what makes you think that your father's threats worked, Julian? All your father did was convince me that I have to tell Sheridan and Luis exactly what happened that night. They both have a right to know.